Okay, here's something I forgot to mention. That this rig had at one time, and then it was gone too, like so many other things that were cannibalized off this rig when I got it, is a spudding guide. Get my hair out of my way, get up here. Usually with a spudding guide, you use it to start the well off, because without it, you've got all this drill stem going up, and the drill stem will tend to flop all over the place until you get these tools buried in the ground. So I took an old, what's called a Lydecker elevator, and this elevator was older than the rig, and cut it down like this. See how it goes back? And so I've got it adjustable. I just welded all this out of pipe and put it together, but it'll keep the drill stem in place. There's a little bit of play in there where you can drill with it until it gets down to, say, basically about down to this level. Then the hole will start going in straight, and it'll go in on its own. I won't have to have this anymore. But this drill stem is probably, wow. I know the bit itself is probably built in the around 1908 to 1912 or 15. It's one of the older styles. And this drill stem is basically what we call a sinker bar. It's a short drill stem. It's about 16 feet, and it's got the old style. This is a bigger pin. This has got a bigger threads, tapered cone threads in it than up there on top, which is again one of the older styles. Generally, the newer styles have the small ones on top and bottom. But this swivel rope socket that's on here, the way this thing works, if I can get down here, the way this thing works is that every time that swivel rope socket, it's got a, I don't even know if I've got one down here, but it's got a Babbitt filled, what's called a stinger, that goes inside that swivel rope socket. So every time that this hits on the ground, it hits and it turns at a different spot. And of course, you're constantly churning up all the cuttings and stuff and coming up these water courses and out. And then again, drill 3 feet or 5 foot run, pull out, hang the tools back against the mast, and then take this baler out. I guess I'm going to have to adjust that camera down so you can see the baler. Hang on. Okay, here's how the baler works. You hand the tools. You have to hold it out like that, but the way the baler goes is when it hits bottom. When it hits bottom, it's got this is just like a big check valve in here. See it raises up, it fills up with fluid and water and trash, and it comes back down again. Really neat. Anyway, that's how the thing works. It's basically just a piece of pipe or boiler tube. I think this one actually is a piece of boiler tube originally. Anything else, but it oh yeah, even the pins were gone from the rig, so I took some old truck axle shafts and welded handles on them. See, they were, you can tell on the back side what they were. See, they were just old truck axle shafts out of the inside of a rear axle, and I cut the axle shaft in two, welded handles on them, and then on the front side I welded nuts. Well, all thread, great big all thread, as well as those big nuts, and the bigger nut is just a spacer along with that double groove shiv too. Kind of looks like a big wrecked ship or something out here. But anyway, I'll give you a shot down on the drawworks. You can kind of get some idea a little bit more how it's laid out. Get over here. Okay, so you can kind of see how the arm comes up and down and how the drawworks are laid out. It's just that main shaft is a real power shaft. But they're pretty simple systems. There's just not much to them. Good picture of that doghouse. See, bolted oil tank for a roof. Well, the whole thing's an oil tank, and Dad just hammered it out. Anyway, got a little sidetrack there. I'm really bad about that, and I talk too much. Let's see. There's a crank arm down from the top down to the bottom. I think I just heard a deer get shot. deer season's open in the morning, the bullets are going to be flying, so you get my protective gear or something to defend myself. Of course, you've got here is chain drive. I also put in all this linkage for the casing line. Added all that linkage and put that lever on there, because before you had to reach in there in the drawworks and switch them over. There was only one. It was really weird. There was only like one lever that operated the casing line and the spudder clutch, which would be kind of scary because, you know, you see with all those open chains and stuff, it can scalp you or lose a few fingers. And most people I knew, my grandfather's generation, lost quite a few, or thumbs or fingers, thumbs, eyes, just kind of whatever. It's just really typical as far as this area. Of course, the mast, I had to strengthen the mast with channel iron. It was getting kind of weak in that area, and I was trying to bow whenever I raised the mast, but you can kind of see the pivot point there where the mast comes over. But again, it's on low pole, and you still got, well, there'd be low pole and then high pole, another 6 feet or so up there. So about 48 feet or so. Of course, you count it being off the ground, so let's just figure 50 feet. And of course, it's got all threads in the bottom of the mast that you can adjust the mast out and stick a pin in there and then turn the mast tighter or looser. But yeah, I was really amazed when I found this thing that day, because I was looking for some truck parts at a salvage and ended up seeing it about 15 feet in the air on top of a big pile of trucks they were going to cut up. And so I asked the guy, and he said, yeah, sure, we'll trade. So that's how it worked out. So I figure the gun was probably worth like $375 or so. So I thought it was a good trade. I mean, I can always go pick up another one. They're really good guns, but there's only one of these rigs that I know of, and it's the only one I've ever seen. But again, the understanding was this was the first prototype that the Greene brothers built. This rig drilled, I don't know, probably, since I was a kid, it probably drilled something like 100 and maybe 110, 120 wells that I knew about. I mean, they drilled to this thing constantly. And I like the portability of this rig because you don't have to have a bulldozer and a crew of men to raise and lower the thing. You can do it. I raised this myself, set up everything, and the rig actually, the mast went up in about 20 minutes. I just had to, between the photographs and trying to remember from memory how things were, typical oil boom cheesy 70s 3/4 ton Ford. And anyway, I said I get sidetracked a lot. I put these blocks on, and see the line goes underneath, and then, or over the top of that one, excuse me, then underneath the rig, there's another block there I welded on. But it was just basically neighbors that kicked in pieces and parts. The V-belts, I even had a special order because of the length. You just don't use V-belts like that on much oil field equipment in this area. But anyway, of course, the engine's got a twin disc clutch on it. And that shiv I found in a junkyard at Caney also had a remachined, put on there. I left a couple of grooves open on that shiv right there, so in case it got hard to start, I could use a tractor with a power takeoff on the side to start the engine in cold weather. Of course, I really don't plan to use it in cold weather because I hate cold weather. California is always nice and warm and sunny, and that's where I usually bail out about Thanksgiving or so. This winch truck, wow. It's a 54 model, and it's got the original engine in it, a Y-Block 252. It was just an old tank truck when I found it. It's kind of ironic, that's what I'm using it for now. But I had the bed and the winch off another old junker of Dad's, and gutted the bed, put new steel in it. It was an old Tulsa bed and Tulsa winch. Built all this headache rack, put it all together, and even had the beer keg, which I found. I didn't drink it, honestly, for a gas tank. And I had that old junk tank that I'm using the tank for drilling water. Hope my battery's not getting low. I'm running out of tape, I guess. Well, anyway, I guess that's about it for now. I can't think of anything else offhand. Got some pretty good, decent shots and all. And I guess that's it.